How real is it to be possible, the idea that because you're meeting a moment where profound asks are being made of a business by a group that has never been stronger than it is right now about asking for money in a culture where it will be very unpopular if the WNBA does what you're saying, how probable is that?
It'll be unpopular if the WNBA folds.
Right now, the numbers on the table are both significant and transformative. The WNBA's most recent proposal guarantees a maximum base salary of $1 million by 2026, a major increase from the current $249,000 cap. Beyond that, revenue-sharing mechanisms could allow the top earners to reach as much as $1.3 million initially, climbing to nearly $2 million by the final year of the agreement. Meanwhile, the average salary would experience a massive jump, from $120,000 today to over $530,000 in the first year of the agreement, eventually rising to $770,000 by the deal's conclusion. Even the minimum salary would see an upgrade, moving to $250,000. These are not incremental adjustments. They are transformative shifts that, if fully implemented, would reshape the financial landscape of the league. Despite these substantial increases, the offer has not satisfied the players, which is why the WNBA Players Association voted yesterday to authorize a potential strike. This authorization allows them to walk out at any point, signaling the seriousness of their demands. The crux of the dispute revolves around revenue sharing, a model that the owners have explicitly rejected. The players are effectively asking for NBA-style revenue participation, where they would earn a guaranteed percentage of league-wide revenue rather than relying solely on base salaries and negotiated bonuses. The tension here lies in timing and feasibility. While the league is offering significant financial improvements that could elevate player compensation to unprecedented levels, it is doing so within a structure that ensures sustainability. The owners are cautious because the league has never historically turned a profit in its 28-year existence. Approving revenue sharing before the league has achieved consistent profitability could destabilize the entire operation. From the players' perspective, the demand is understandable. They are attempting to secure long-term financial gains and ensure fair compensation for driving ratings, sponsorships, and fan engagement. From the owner's perspective, the request is risky. They are being asked to guarantee a share of revenue that is yet to materialize, all while recouping decades of investment. Both sides have legitimate interests, but the negotiation is a high-wire act. It is a rare moment where the financial and cultural stakes are intertwined. The outcome could redefine salaries, the league's financial model, and the overall trajectory of women's professional basketball. Every number, every clause, and every strategic choice will influence whether the WNBA evolves into a more equitable and sustainable league or faces unprecedented disruption.
Trying to get a landing spot for tons of issues, not just housing or minimums or tagging a percentage of revenue.
If the players are not going to move on a revenue split versus derive revenue share off of a fixed number, what is your opinion on what happens?
Maybe the end of the WNBA. The players will move. There's not going to be a fixed number. It doesn't make sense to me for the WNBA to demand that, for the players to demand that right now. I understand.
Listen closely to Sampson's analysis. He argues that the players may have made a critical strategic error by framing this as their moment. This phrasing, while inspiring on a surface level, has serious consequences in a high-stakes negotiation. Declaring a moment as historic or decisive implicitly signals to both owners and observers that maximum gains are expected immediately. Any compromise or partial victory risks being perceived as a loss, which can corner the players into a position where concessions feel unacceptable. This is particularly dangerous when negotiating with a league that, in practical terms, has never turned a consistent profit over its 28-year history. The owners here are a different story. They have invested heavily, subsidized losses year after year, and endured multiple economic downturns while keeping the league afloat. Now, thanks to a new media rights deal and other strategic initiatives, they are on the verge of achieving financial stability. They have navigated nearly 3 decades of operational uncertainty to arrive at this point. And yet, the players are asking for revenue sharing that would lock in guaranteed percentages before the owners have even recouped their substantial investments. From a financial standpoint, this is a gamble the owners are understandably hesitant to take. Sampson emphasizes that framing the negotiation as an immediate windfall is not just risky, it undercuts strategic leverage. Effective negotiation, especially with a financially precarious organization, requires patience and positioning. Asking for maximum guarantees in the moment may alienate decision-makers and reduce the likelihood of achieving long-term objectives. Owners, after all, are business people who have been forced to manage losses, allocate capital strategically, and protect the sustainability of the league. They are unlikely to embrace demands that could compromise their ability to recover from decades of investment without a proven revenue foundation.
The biggest thing they did wrong, they said this is their moment. And so they've put a lot of pressure on themselves to make huge changes in the collective bargaining agreement because this is their moment. What you try to do is make incremental benefits through the course of multiple agreements.
That's exactly what your boy said. Me. They're trying to go for too much at one time, especially involving a league that's never...
This isn't conjecture, and it's certainly not clickbait. What you're hearing is David Sampson, who served as president of the Miami Marlins for 16 years, explaining a real possibility to Dan Le Batard. The WNBA could actually cease operations if the players push too aggressively on revenue sharing. And he's far from alone in raising this concern. The situation is extremely delicate. Recently, the league presented its latest offer to the players, a proposal that has set the stage for a critical turning point in the league's history. In response, the WNBA Players Association voted to authorize a potential strike, signaling that the players are ready to take bold action if their demands are not met. This isn't just a labor negotiation. This is a high-stakes battle that could either fundamentally transform the league or, in a worst-case scenario, threaten its very existence. What's striking here is the scale of what's at risk. The WNBA has been evolving steadily, gaining visibility and cultural relevance over the past several seasons. Yet it remains financially delicate. The players' leverage is significant. They are the face of the league, responsible for driving ratings, sponsorships, and fan engagement, but that leverage comes with risk. If the negotiation goes too far, it could destabilize a league that has been carefully nurtured over nearly 3 decades. Sampson's comments underscore just how precarious the situation is. He isn't theorizing. He's drawing on decades of experience running professional sports organizations, understanding both the operational constraints of leagues and the financial realities behind ambitious labor demands. At its core, this moment reflects a tension between ambition and sustainability. The players are seeking to reshape the economics of the league, pushing for revenue-sharing structures similar to those seen in other professional leagues. At the same time, the owners are aware that the league has yet to turn a sustained profit, and that any agreement granting guaranteed shares of revenue before profitability is achieved could jeopardize the organization's future. The negotiation, therefore, is more than a discussion about salaries or benefits. It's a negotiation over the league's long-term viability. Every move matters. The stakes have never been higher, and every decision will ripple through the future of women's professional basketball. This is a pivotal moment, one where the actions of both players and league officials could redefine the WNBA for years to come.
Players who are getting paid multi-millions of dollars to go play in another league in another country. This is the moment. If you had any ability to invest and you wanted to start a league to compete with the WNBA, this is the time. Every player is a free agent. All of them want money and need money. If you have a well-capitalized and well-funded business, the way Project B may be, that could be the end of the WNBA. And I promise you that Adam Silver is thinking about that, and the players are thinking about it.
Sampson's assessment is hard to dispute. The players appear to be attempting to achieve everything in a single negotiation. Maximum salary increases, revenue sharing, improved travel arrangements, upgraded housing, expanded rosters, and more. The challenge is that they are negotiating with a league that has never turned a profit in its nearly 3-decade history. The WNBA is largely controlled by NBA owners, business people who have invested time, money, and patience over decades, ensuring the league's survival despite systemic financial losses. These owners are not naive. They did not amass their wealth by entering agreements that guarantee losses. They are approaching this negotiation with caution, balancing the desire to fairly compensate players with the need to preserve financial viability. What the players might have done differently is strategically prioritize. They could have taken the substantial salary increases currently on the table, a $2 million maximum, a $770,000 average, and a $250,000 minimum salary, all transformational improvements. By securing these gains now, they would have locked in immediate financial benefits without overextending the league. Then, after a period in which the new media deal generates measurable profits and the league demonstrates sustainable growth, the players could return to negotiate revenue sharing from a position of proven leverage. This approach reduces risk and maximizes long-term potential, aligning the players' interests with the league's financial realities. Instead, demanding revenue sharing immediately before the league has achieved profitability introduces significant risk. Owners may refuse, stalls could occur, and in the worst-case scenario, the league could be destabilized. Sampson's argument is not about denying players fair compensation. It's about timing and strategic negotiation. By prioritizing incremental, sustainable gains now, the players would ensure financial security and strengthen the league's long-term viability. Pushing for all demand simultaneously risks undermining both immediate and future opportunities. The key takeaway is that negotiation is a strategic art. Success requires balancing ambition with pragmatism, understanding the operational realities of the league, and securing gains in a manner that ensures the continued growth and stability of women's professional basketball. This measured approach would protect the players' interests while safeguarding the league they rely on, offering the best chance for enduring transformation without risking collapse.
In other words, they could now strike at any time. We have also found out that the WNBA owners have a new offer on the table. And I got to tell you, if the players don't take this offer, they're idiots. They're idiots. There's no excuses. Because by the time you get to the final year of this offer, the final year of this deal that's on the table, the max players are making what you're making in Project B, $2 million.
This is the part of the conversation that should genuinely alarm the Players Association. Sampson isn't speculating. He is speaking from years of experience managing professional sports organizations. He highlights a hard truth. If someone had the capital, the infrastructure, and the vision for a competing league, this is the ideal moment to strike. Every WNBA player is essentially a free agent. The collective bargaining agreement is set to expire, and all athletes have leverage in the market. Moreover, new opportunities are emerging with unprecedented financial backing. Project B in Saudi Arabia, for instance, is offering multi-million-dollar contracts and is supported by serious investors with infrastructure that rivals traditional professional leagues. The stakes here are profound. If the WNBA were to fold because players demand revenue sharing that the league cannot sustain, it wouldn't just be about lost salaries. The collapse would erase the ecosystem that supports women's professional basketball. Television deals, sponsorships, organizational infrastructure, marketing campaigns, and brand recognition. These are not replaceable in the short term. Players could see the very structures that allowed them to earn, perform, and gain public visibility vanish overnight. Sampson challenges the players to consider a critical question. Unpopular to whom? Even with Caitlin Clark's exceptional influence, ratings gains, and the cultural visibility of the league, the peak audience for WNBA broadcasts is about 2.5 million viewers. While the social media backlash to a league folding would be loud and emotionally charged, it might not translate into tangible financial or political consequences sufficient to protect the business. The reality, Sampson suggests, is that the players' current strategy carries existential risk. By pushing for revenue sharing before the league has achieved stable profitability, they may inadvertently destabilize the very league they are trying to improve. The options are stark: negotiate strategically for guaranteed salary improvements now and revisit revenue sharing discussions later, or risk attempting to capture maximum gains immediately at the potential cost of the entire league. The latter scenario would jeopardize not only their current earnings, but the long-term sustainability of women's professional basketball as a professional ecosystem. Sampson's perspective frames this negotiation as more than a labor dispute. It is a question of risk management, timing, and the practical realities of maintaining a fledgling professional sports league in a competitive entertainment landscape.